Welcome to On the Road with MattyRocks, on location at MYTH Nightclub in Maplewood, Minnesota, joined by special guest Andrea Ferro, vocalist for Lacuna Coil. Thanks for joining me, Andrea. How are you today?
I'm really good. I just woke up and had breakfast. Yesterday we played a headline show in Des Moines, so it was a good trip to come here.
Very nice. Welcome to Minnesota.
Thanks a lot. It's always a pleasure to be back here.
Gigantour 2012. You guys are on a 24-leg tour. This is your 11th stop on that tour with Megadeth, Motorhead, and Volbeat. How cool is that, and how is the tour going so far?
It's good, really smooth, because everybody in the bands and in the crews, they're all nice people, and they try to have everybody the best comfort, the best quality possible for everything, from starting from the dressing room to the stage space and everything. So everybody is very, very into make the tour happening in a smooth way, and that's great. And then it's also a great way for us to promote the new album and to start the touring cycle in America. We play with great bands, legendary bands, I would say, like Megadeth and Motorhead. And also we're becoming friends with the guys in Volbeat, which we never met before, actually, even if they're from Europe like us, you know.
Andrea, take MattyRocks listeners back to the early years in Arona, Italy, and give everyone an insight to how music and singing became a part of your life.
Yeah, it was very something we never really planned, you know, because it was me and Marco, the bass player, that we were starting the band just because we were skateboarders, and in the winter, especially when we couldn't skate, we just started playing and jam in his house, play some cover songs of like Iron Maiden, Anthrax, or Black Flags, you know, the band we were listening at the time, Pantera, and so everything started just as a side hobby, total side hobby, and then we're getting more into the music and less into skateboarding because we were growing older and, you know, starting with girlfriends and, you know, normal stuff. So we were getting more and more into music, and then we decided to record a first song for a compilation of underground bands in Milan. And that was the real beginning, basically, of really getting more seriously into music. You know, then we met all the other guys that formed the first lineup of the band. We were searching between musician friends that were hanging out at the same metal pub in Milan where we used to go. And then we met also Christina there. So when it was time to do our first real demo with this new band, we asked her, we knew she could sing, so we asked her to do some background vocals just to see how it fits with at the time we were playing more of a doom death metal kind of music. So we wanted to try to insert some female vocals because it was something never done at the time, you know. So it sounded great, so we actually asked her to be a permanent singer and to be a real singer, not to just a background vocalist. So it worked out, and we did a demo tape, we sent it to the labels, and we signed a deal with Century Media right away, so we started everything from there, you know.
Right on. Now, when you guys started out in '94, you started out as Sleep of Right.
Yes.
And then you had to change the name to Ethereal.
No, actually, we changed the name because Sleep of Right were just me and Marco, basically, and another couple of friends. Then when we did the demo that we sent with Central Media, was already Ethereal, but then we had to change the name because of copyrights problem, because there were other two bands using the same name. So to avoid start with a band name that maybe somebody's going to suit you to change it or something, so we decided to create another name with the same kind of meaning. So we found an Italian word, lacuna, which means like an empty space. And then coil, which is like spiral, so it was kind of the same meaning of ethereal, basically. If you want to really translate it, it's like empty spiral, basically.
Okay. Inquiring minds want to know, what is the typical warm-up routine before hitting the stage for you?
Yeah, we're doing. We have a little app on the iPad, actually, and then it's called Vocal Live, and that has a little exercise on its own, and then you can also put more MP3s with other exercise like scales, you know, normal warm-ups, and then you can do some. The most important thing is actually to sleep. You know, if you can have proper sleep and we feel really well rested, is the best thing for the voice. There's nothing like sleep, but also the fact that we don't smoke. We just get drunk when it's day off the next day and not every night. You know, it's important to try to be healthy, more or less. And then, of course, you can warm up with normal scales and exercise that are just the classic ones everybody do, basically.
Talk about your relationship and how does it all work with a female vocalist and a male vocalist? Because I'm assuming you and Christina have to be, a very tight-knit, group together, the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's something maybe unusual because not many bands have two singers, especially a male and a female. So we work it out, I think, along the way. We've learned how to manage the two vocals also in the songs. We never sit down and say, okay, we're gonna sing 50% each. It's always more about the feeling for the song. If we want to give a more powerful verse, then I'm gonna sing it, or a more epic choruses, maybe Christina sing it. So we just try to use the vocals as two instruments, since they're very different vocals. Especially when I started, I was more of a growling vocals guy. So I develop a more clean way of or a rough way of singing, and this way we can really have two complete different voices that fits a lot of different moods for the songs. So we have a variety of sounds in our albums because we can have this complete different approach from the vocals, and that's what we like. And I think we've been able to develop just years after years, and album after album, and now we are very unit. Sometimes we even think the same phrase. It's pretty cool.
Well, I will say you two are both amazing vocalists. And you make the band sound great.
We try our best. I think it's important that we develop every album. We become better singers. Christina is obviously very talented, and probably she's more of the special elements compared to a normal metal band you would have. So I'm more of a solid, rhythmical and powerful singer. She's more of the fantasy part of the vocals in our band, and that's what we like about it.
Everyone has musical influences throughout their career. Who are some of your musical influences, or even some of the band members' musical influences, who have helped shape Lacuna Coil to what it is today?
I mean, definitely in the beginning of the band, we were inspired by bands like Type O Negative, Paradise Lost, Tiamat, all the more dark metal bands of the early 90s, Moonspell and all those bands. So our sound in the beginning was definitely part of that scene, because it's normal. When you start a band, you want to sound like your heroes, like your favorite bands. Then I think we've been able to experiment on different albums and introduce new elements, different elements. Every record we try to change a little bit, to make it a little different. And I think now we've found more of a personal style, which is a combination of the dark elements with more rock anthems sometimes, and more metal parts other times, depending on song to song. So those three elements are what we are now, and now maybe we don't have a band that we look up to anymore. We have a lot of band that we like, a lot of songs that we like, but not one band that was like, we have to be the new this, the new that. When we started, we surely wanted to be the new Paradise Lost or the new whatever bands from that style.
So now it's other bands' turns to look up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we've been around a few years now, so we have cover band, tribute bands. It's very cool. I really like when I see different musicians doing our songs. Like we have recently seen a version of Trip the Darkness, the latest single, made by piano, from a guy that we was doing both the rhythmical and the lead on the piano, and it's simply amazing. It fits a lot, and that's the greatest part, when you see somebody coming from a different place that likes your music and makes it his own. That's the greatest thing, I think, and it's a big achievement for the band to hear it, that it sounds great even with something completely different.
Right. Very nice. To date, Lacuna Coil has released 6 studio albums and 2 EPs. Out of those 6 CDs that you guys have released, even the EPs, which one of those to you is the special project, the one that you're most proud of, and why?
Obviously, every musician is proud of every album because they are like your babies. When you did that album, you were trying to give the best you had at the time. So obviously, that Inner Reverie was the best album we could do in '99, as well as Dark Adrenaline is the best we could do now. But I think one of probably the most special albums so far has been Comalize, because it's the album that has been translating the band from being the little European Euro goth metal band to a more international act that tours the States, South America, Europe, Asia, Australia, and so that album has allowed us to go to a next level that then we've been developing with the future albums. But that's probably the most special one, because it really moved us from one level to another.
And Dark Adrenaline, you guys just released in 2012. and you guys kind of came out of the gate strong with that. I mean, it's got some great stuff going with it. You have the top 15 Billboard with that, and even your Trip the Darkness has made it up there, very high charting.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second album actually that we place in the top 20 in America, and that's a big achievement for a band from Milano, Italy. You know, as a metal band especially. So it's all good, and we'll keep working. The business is getting really hard now because of the changing of the downloading and the cutting of the budget, the economical crash. So it's not the best time. But it's still a good sign to place an album in good charts in Europe and here, and then it opens some chances for this band in the future. You know, maybe it's not as important as it used to be in the past, because in the past when you were going top 20, it means you sell like 300,000-400,000 copies right away. Now it's not, but it's surely a sign that there is still interest in the band. There are still offers for tours and soundtracks and publishing possibilities, you know. So it's still working, and we managed to have all new generation of fans along with our more traditional fans. And it's very important to see these new kids come into the show, because they keep the band alive for the future, you know. So it's pushing the band into give the best still. And we still have this fire that we want to accomplish something, you know. We don't have the pressure maybe of some other bands, because we're not an American band, so we kind of more outsiders in a way, you know. But we're still very happy to make good success over here, because it's a very important international market, the most important international music market.
Very nice. Are these albums the pinnacle of Lacuna Coil, or is that project yet to come?
I think I see the career in cycles. So I think Comalize has been the best album of our first cycle, which was composed by Inner Reverie, Unleashed Memory. And I think Comalize was the most mature and the most defining for the style of the band. Now I see Dark Adrenaline as the best one after Comalize, because it's the album that we've been trying to go more experimental and metal with Karma Code. We've been trying to go more rock and electronic on Shallow Life. And this one, I think it includes all this progression, but it's more mature compared to it's the result of the research we've been doing with the previous two albums. So for this cycle, I would say Dark Adrenaline is the best album. Then I hope there will be another cycle for sure, at least one more, or maybe two.
Well, we look forward to it, so keep it going. Where does the inspiration and the ideas come from to bring all these songs together?
Yeah, I think Marco, which is the bass player, is the main composer for the music especially. He has different ways of collecting ideas. Sometimes he plays at night. Most of the time he composes music at night, because it's his favorite environment. And he might have the TV on with some like horror movies or war documentaries or serial killer documentaries, and then he tries to play some kind of soundtrack to those images. Okay. And that's one place for inspiration. Or you can drive in the car and hear a song or a melody that inspires you, and then you record it, and then you change it and you make it your own, you know. There are many different ways. Or sometimes we've developed a lot of songs starting from one demo, and me and Christina were coming with some idea that were both strong. So we say, with these ideas we can do two choruses. So we make two different songs from the same song, you know. So from one song, two more songs have been born. So there's so many ways there's not one recipe that is going to work, you know. I think what we develop a lot and make it better on this album is the fact that we've been working together as a unit. Like me, Mark, and Christina, we've been locked in his like home studio that he has in his basement and work every day for a few months, going there brainstorming, changing ideas, and exchanging parts. Like a part that I sang maybe sounds better with Christina's voice, or the other way around. So we work a lot as a unit, and that has been very prolific, very positive for the album.
Very nice. What does the future hold for Lacuna Coil?
At the moment, it's mostly touring, because the album has just been released. So we're gonna finish Gigantor, then we go home for a little, like 3 weeks. Then we go to South America for a short festival tour with Lamb of God and Hatebreed. And then we're coming back to North America for probably headlining run, and maybe some radio station festivals and other touring connected to the radio stations. And then we go back to Europe in May, end of May, to do the Euro festivals for the summer. And maybe we will start collecting some ideas, since we have some time home in between the festival, because they're usually in the weekend, so we fly there just for the weekend. and we're gonna start collecting ideas, and then probably end of September we're gonna do the European headline tour, and then all the other countries we haven't done, like Japan or Australia or India or all the other places we hope we're gonna visit.
Where is your favorite place? If you spun the globe and you put your finger on it, where's your favorite place to tour?
I would say for touring is probably in America, United States, because it's more comfortable and organized, and you really breathe the rock and roll lifestyle. So to me, it's the best place for touring. But I really like when we go to Australia or Japan, because those are beautiful places, very different than ours. So it's every time you go to a new place, it's cool because you visit like we've been to South America last year and for the first time, and it was great. And then we've been to India. We played a big festival in Bangalore. We headlined like a beer fest. It was called Oktoberfest. It was quite a surprise, It was all sponsored by a big beer brand, and there were a lot of people, like 10,000 people, and it was really cool and organized, and I was really surprised. But I had the chance to visit also the city, and it was crazy different, monkeys on the street and crazy driving, crazy people,
Very nice. Let MattyRocks listeners know where they can keep up with you, and more importantly, the rest of the band and all the kick-ass music that you guys are putting out.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays I would say that Facebook is the best place, because we have a website, of course, which is www.lacunacoil.it, like Italy. And it's important, and we got all the information there. But also the Facebook, I think, is quicker. It's like Twitter and Facebook are right there. And when you say something, it's already there. So probably the Facebook/Lacuna Coil is the most popular one at the moment. But also you have personal pages for me and Christina where you can keep in touch a little bit. When we have time, we always reply to everybody if you have questions or information to have. So all those are cool.
All right. Anything that you would like to say to the MattyRocks listeners out there in the United States or around the world who may listen to this interview?
Yeah, well, I want to invite them to check out our music. We have quite a catalog now, so they can have something that I'm sure they'll find something they can like. And if they have the chance to come see us live, it's going to be a great, energetic show with a lot of singing along and jumping and having fun. So I just tell them to give a chance to the band and see if they like it.
Very nice. What can we expect from tonight's show?
Tonight is going to be quick because we only have half an hour, but it's going to be intense, and there will be a lot of energy. We play a lot of energetic songs to start the show and to get the crowd going for the rest of the show. So it's going to be quick but intense.
All right. Well, I definitely look forward to this show. Thanks, Andrea, for taking the time out to do this interview. It's greatly appreciated. Continued success to you as well as the rest of the band members of Lacuna Coil. You've heard it here, MattyRocks listeners, on the road with MattyRocks live at MYTH Nightclub in Maplewood, Minnesota for Gigantour 2012. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because we're going to play a few tracks from Lacuna Coil, and I hope you enjoy them. MattyRocks out.
Thank you.